overcome communication challenges. Our speakers are Halliday from Amtra Solutions and Sean Panter from Fidelity Factory. Sean Halliday is the Vice President of Operations and Innovation at Amtra. A recognized leader in digital transformation, he is an advocate for using proven technologies to change the way people work. Sean Panter is a co-founder of Fidelity Factory. Passionate about bridging the gap between technology and the end user experience, Sean is a specialist in SharePoint collaboration solutions. During today's webinar, feel free to post your questions in the chat box. We will either respond right away or hold them until our Q&A at the end. Also, please note that our session today will be recorded. I will now turn it over to Sean Halliday, who will start off today's presentation.
Thanks very much, Raquel. Welcome, everyone. We may have confused a few of you as we changed from a live meeting to a Teams meeting. Really wanted to get you into the experience of how we're using Teams today. So hopefully you are connected and with us, and if you're catch up. Sean and I are going to take you through a very brief PowerPoint presentation, and then we're going to jump into Teams and interact and interface with the technology under a various use case scenarios. So we're trying to make it highly visual and interactive. So here we go. As I say, we're going to review some of the tools and the approach to using Teams and the Power Platform together. The majority of this presentation webinar today is actually a demonstration where we're in Microsoft Teams using Power Platform functionality and talking through various use case scenarios. We'll share some best practices certainly throughout and especially at the end. And as Raquel said, the question and answers, please type them in. We'll try to get to all of them, if not in real time, certainly towards the end. So just a quick reminder for those who are perhaps new to Teams, kind of what it is. It's part of the Microsoft 365 stack, included in the Office 365 licensing. It's really for collaboration both within the organization and externally. Now that has a lot to do with meetings, whether it's one-on-one meetings or mass sort of broadcast meetings like we're doing today. Phone and video conferencing. Teams has replaced many organizations' telephony systems. The chat, again, direct one-to-one chat or chatting amongst teams and groups. Files get stored and introduced into Teams. Under the covers, it's SharePoint. And so there's a lot of opportunity for collaboration around documents and good document management practices. And then integrating the apps, which is a lot of what we're going to talk about today, using either third-party apps for things as fun as surveys and recognitions, all the way through to some real power platform motion and analysis. We like to suggest that people think of Teams as like a war room or a clubhouse that is focused on a particular goal. Whether that's a department, an HR department, for example, running the HR practice for the organization over time, or whether it's a specific project, drilling a well, uploading or upgrading software, those sorts of things. So that war room concept where all the activities, data, documents, and people are centralized in a place where we can go to work. Sean's going to tell us a bit more about the Power Platform.
All right, thank you, Sean, and thanks everyone for joining us today. So the Power Platform is part of the Dynamics 365 product group, and it is made up of the core components that we see up on the slide right now. Power Apps being that low-code, no-code tool for building apps and portals with. Power Automate is a tool that we've used quite a bit in our solution today, building process automation. So here to leverage that ecosystem of connectors. There's almost 400 connectors out there now, so you can create your digital automations or robotic process automation as well. Power BI obviously is there for your reporting, being able to analyze, visualize all the data and important information that are part of your business processes. And finally, the Common Data Service. So we've used the Common Data Service in this solution today. It really is more than just somewhere to keep your data. It is an excellent choice as a system of record. So you can think about the Power Platform together being this tool set in low code that you can build automations, apps, and do all that analysis on your data with Power BI on.
Fantastic, and we're going to show a lot of that so that it really take the slide into reality here. Sean is going to tell us a few about the options that exist for evolving processes.
Right. So we're going to be providing you with an example today around a business continuity scenario, and there are a bunch of different cases that we'll have to show you as we work through the demonstration today. One of the things that we thought was really important, though, to talk about here was there are a lot of places that you can affect change and have an impact with this tool set in your organization with. So it might be on the level of personal productivity. You can affect the way an individual or gets their tasks done. You can have an effect on a department or a whole team by building a tool that will span across a process. And moving along the spectrum, we have enterprise grade solutions. Obviously, the capabilities are there to build those kinds of solutions that are going to be useful and used by everyone across the organization. So we'll talk a little bit more about where it's appropriate to start as we go through the presentation, but we didn't want to point you in one direction just because we did a very holistic thing in our demo today. There are a lot of options that you have there. So another really important part of working with these tools is the ability to find those opportunities, those golden nuggets that are out there, and apply these tools to them. Obviously, there are gaps and bottlenecks in processes across organizations, and being able to improve these, close the gaps, and modernize processes with this tool set is a great opportunity. And you'll see some of the things that we've done really easily that weren't capable or weren't possible without a big technical investment, even 4 or 5 years ago. Being able to replace legacy tools is another one. So there are so many processes that are trapped in paper, email, or spreadsheet-based processes. These are perfect candidates to consider replacing or applying a solution towards, kind of based on the tool set we're talking about today. Allowing people to make decisions quicker, and I think this is huge. We've got the little mobile phone icon there next to the bullet for this point. And previously, everyone was used to having these first-class apps in their personal life that they were able to access everything they needed to do in their day-to-day living with, but the office space wasn't there yet. And now with Power Apps, the Teams mobile app, we've got all these new capabilities that really keep people connected to the information they need. So that's a big change that's happened with the tool set we're talking about. And finally, being able to enable people to work in the places they need to. So getting the right information to the right person at the right time, regardless of where they are, is critical. And you'll see today how this real-time collaboration and movement of information can happen.
You know, one of the important messages that we want to convey today is that you don't have to change an entire process in order to use these tools and really make a big difference in the organization. In my professional career, I've been involved with rewiring accounts payable processes, request to drill processes, major business functions that involve the whole company, lots of decision if-then criteria. Now, that's certainly exciting and an opportunity, but we would like to also encourage you to think a little more micro and look for ways within even your personal productivity or a small team to just enhance one piece of it. And that's really what we're going to deal with today in our demonstration, is show you a bunch of micro solutions that can speed things up, make things easier, communicate better, reduce some data entry transfer issues, those sorts of things. So though we can get very excited and speak about grand business process modernization, and I do believe that's where this is headed, you can start and make a real impact with much smaller use cases, and we're going to show you those. So just to review kind of some of the tools that are at our discretion today, to help with collaboration, you're going to see us use some of the tabs on Teams and bring in other apps from other services. You'll see some collaboration taking place as we develop content together and track the details of progress made. And you'll see the working together, the chatting, the co-authoring, what have you. On the app side, you're going to actually see the apps. We've got a Canvas app in play and the Teams app. And we're going to show how we can use those as business automation tools. Speaking of automation, you'll see Power Automate, the flow tool, get in usage here. And you'll also see some timers and other things that are particularly advantageous to the work scenario we've come up with. From an analytics perspective, you'll see Power BI. And this is definitely, when Sean was speaking about enterprise grade change and optics, Power BI is probably your lowest hanging fruit for that, to share information that the business has across business cycles and create those dashboards. And then on the data and storage side, the common data service, the apps, and even just the document management side. So there's a lot of, as we look down the left here, from collaboration and automation and analytics, we've got a lot of really powerful deliveries through these tool sets. Sean.
This slide is meant to set up the solution that we built, and what we've done and we found works very well in the case you're going to get to see today, and in other cases we've done with customers. We've used Teams as a base, so it's a central place folks are used to working in, and from there we're supplementing it and with other tools that are out there. So Sean mentioned a few of the ones in the last slide, but we're able to add other apps and services very easily in a few different ways, so we can integrate where we need to. Being able to build these behind the scenes automations with Power Automate is also something that we've taken advantage of here. So we're provisioning things, we're deploying things and using it as a tool to take care of work that someone might have to manually do otherwise. And finally, being able to leverage Power Apps. So we leveraged Project Oakdale, Power Apps for Teams in this solution as well. So you'll get a look at that and how nicely it integrates with Teams.
Excellent. So let's set it up. We're about to get into the demonstration. We didn't spend a bunch of time on the branding of the company. So XYZ Core is a business with multiple store locations. They have a service continuity response team that's formed from people throughout the organizations, multiple departments: legal, insurance, marketing, sales, merchandising. They work on, generally, when there are no incidents and emergencies, they're working on their response preparedness. So response plans, site maintenance plans, and all kinds of documents, processes, and templates that will assist them if a service interruption event occurs. That's what we've had happen. A service interruption event has occurred. So we're going to take you into this journey of our team working away. Let me bring up my environment here. The scariest part of these demos is if anything doesn't work. So here's a scenario, okay? And I'm anywhere in one of my chats and looking around at some conversations, and all of a sudden, one of my team members sends me a message that says there's been a fire at the Calgary location. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to, report an incident. So I just want to slow down here. I right mouse clicked on the three little ellipses based on a chat anywhere in Teams, and I've dropped down to a flow. I'm going to let Sean, one of the little journeys that we're going to do is I'm going to play the business side of things, and Sean's going to play the technical side, explaining what's happening. So I'm now worried about recording my event. I'm using this nice little card, and Sean's going to tell us about what it's all about. Some drop downs, some dates, some severity levels. Do I want to trigger an emergency response, which may even spread out messaging wider in the organization? How many customers affected, and fire in the back. I'm just going to keep it nice and simple. By filling out this card, I have now requested that a team site is created for our team. And happily, I've seen this reference. Now, Sean, can you go ahead and explain what's happening in the background while this team is formed? And we're going to see another one pop up here as the flow runs.
Absolutely. So Microsoft recently released with the Power Automate tool the ability to trigger a flow based on a chat. And along with that, they made it very easily to create these adaptive cards. So that was what you saw pop up. Sean went to the ellipses, clicked on the flow initiation, and it brought up the adaptive card. So you don't have to understand how to create an adaptive card by writing a bunch of JSON or anything like that. They actually have a drag and drop editor for creating adaptive cards with. So what happens if you go into Power Automate, you choose to create a flow with a trigger for a chat in Teams. And the first thing that happens is it presents you with a stock adaptive card. We've taken that and adjusted it so it fits our scenario. And the nice thing about it is Power Automate does provide you with the ability to flow data along. So what's cool is we captured from chat all these details about the incident, and then we're using it elsewhere. What ends up happening is we're sending that data back into Project Oakdale. And we'll get to see a little bit more about the life cycle of our solution and what else is happening with that data that was used to initiate this as we move along.
Excellent. And so I'm just making sure that, of course, all the timers have to run and do their thing here. So I just want to show a couple more things as our new team is going to be produced. We're producing this team off of a site template, an incident template that we've pre-created. Sometimes this will show, sometimes it won't. We wanted to have it visible. And I just want to show that we've got a couple of the channels set up: general, construction, external, human resources, processes. So these have been predetermined, and it is this incident team template that is being replicated. And so now, as we get it replicated, and I knew it was going to take longer than my my little explanation here, but it's coming. We can simply go into a team that was replicated. This card has advised all of the team members that are part of the incident response team to come in here and see what's happened within the facility. Another thing I want to show you is that we built into this incident template a OneNote environment. And so I can very quickly go into my incident management OneNote template and add it into our team. So now we have a way to structure meetings with an agenda, parking lot, action items, meeting dates, and details. So all of these sorts of capabilities are available in our team. I'm just reading my demo notes as we go here. So I wanted to show you the OneNote piece and then the community response checklist. So I'll go into my team, go into my general, and go into my checklist. So another thing that we've provided is we've integrated with Microsoft Planner, which has a checklist of events that we would want to drive our team through. So this may be a high panic situation, maybe not the best time to think through what are our best next steps. And so we've pre-created them in a list. Sean's going to tell us about how that was done. And then we have the ability to start moving them, assigning them, keeping track of what's happening here in the planner environment. Sean, just as we do that, do you mind explaining how we created this template in Teams and speak a bit about some of the options for cloning and publishing and those sorts of things, please?
For sure. So we started looking at the options and some of the real capabilities to take advantage of. And when we think about a situation like a business continuity interruption, we want to have a very structured process. We don't want people to have to worry about creating stuff, a bunch of manual steps to initiate something. This led us towards deciding to use a template. And in this case, there are a couple options. And what we've done actually here is we have a stock incident template. So we basically have a team that serves as our template that we're cloning. And this is one option in terms of how we want to go about creating our new area for people to collaborate within. There is a concept as well within the Teams admin tool of creating a managed template. So you can actually create templates, publish them, and then when someone goes to manually create a team, those will be available as well. So you have a few different choices to make. In our case, with the automation and the way we wanted to do it, we thought, let's just completely automate it and go with the clone of the team that we're in. And that kind of leads into the creation of all the channels and these other things that Sean has shown us. Another piece that we've done automatically is we are we are creating the planner area. So we're creating the planner area. We're adding some buckets as well. So we have continuity event tasks. We can see the in progress and completed buckets are there. And then we're actually adding a tab after the fact. So if you'll notice that back up on the incident template general channel, we don't have the checklist there. When our automation runs, we add that tab in, we point it at the planner plan, and that basically is an automated piece of the provisioning of this area for people to work with it. One of the other things that you'll notice is there are a bunch of preloaded tasks as well. We're going to share a little bit more about how we've done that and some of the logic we had behind doing that in just a few minutes.
Yeah, excellent. And so one thing I wanted to do is remind everyone that we have this service continuity team. This is not an incident that has happened. This is the team that meets every week, every month. They do their work here. They're managing their files. So consider this the main headquarters of any service incident. And so one of the things, as I take you through a few of these, we have a continuity tracker dashboard, because unfortunately we have more than one incident occurring in our facilities here. There's the new Calgary site I just set up there. Here we are going to different incidents. Okay, so you see in our Northwest facility, and what we're doing is we're bringing in a summary roll-up of the planner tasks, what has been done, what due dates exist. We can filter it for who's responsible for them or what have you. And we even have immediate ability to mark things complete within here. So you see that this is sort of like mission control, if you will, for all of the incidents. We can start scrolling through, looking at where things were, running timers on how long it's been since events. We could connect those timers to various events if necessary. So all of this is kind of structured and set up in advance. And then as we get into our particular team, off we go. So what I wanted to show was that, and then I want to show you the master checklist that Sean was referencing. And Sean, I'm not going to steal the thunder too much here. Do you mind just kind of explaining what's going on here, please?
For sure. So this is actually using the list functionality in Teams. And we thought, well, in a lot of scenarios like this, we want to have some automatically created things out there for people so that they don't have to spend the time gathering resources, organizing things, and putting effort into those types of tasks when really they should be dealing with the issue. So we came up with this idea of a checklist master. So a continuity event occurs, the planner site is deployed. Now let's load it up with all the tasks that need to be completed. So it takes a bunch of the thinking out and it gives people a reliable process that they can follow. So from here, all these tasks are deployed. This happens in the provisioning cycle. All of these items in the checklist become planner tasks. From there, they can be worked on in planner. What you'll notice here as well, we do have a timeline. So we added in a period of hours that these things need to be completed by. If we go back to the continuity tracker, which is the tab just on the left, you'll notice we've done a little bit with these dates. So this is actually an Oakdale app, and a bunch of this stuff is created for us. Behind the scenes, this is using the Common Data Service, but we thought, you know what, planner's where people want to work. This is what people are used to working in. So why don't we just deploy everything there and then integrate it back into our app? So that's kind of the story around how this went full circle. Everyone that's working on the issue itself can keep track of their work in planner, go about their daily business. However, the continuity team gets this nice picture. They can quickly go in and out of the different issues that may be out there, and they can actually see the planner tasks without having to do a bunch of navigating.
Sean, how did you build this this particular application?
So there's a new Project Oakdale was officially released, I guess announced perhaps at Ignite, and it is now available for you to use. So if you go into the very left-hand navigation of Teams where the ellipses is, you can see that you have the ability to add apps in. There's going to be a Power Apps app if you go down to more apps, and that is going to be what you'll need to get started with. Once you have this app installed, it's going to allow you to create Power Apps for teams. So these are low-code apps that look just like the one we've created. There are some templates there that you can use as well, but it takes care of a lot of the integration and getting things set into teams so nicely, just like we see here, and makes it very easy to build. You're actually doing the app building right within Teams with that tool.
Very cool. Very cool. One more thing to show you from our service continuity team is that we thought we need some BI here. We need to see what's happening with store sales in the area, or something. You can tell I don't actually manage retail stores, but what we've done here by way of using the Power BI data sets that are available is we just brought in a data set and started showing how you could start doing very detailed analysis. These are just Power BI capabilities, but what we wanted to show you is, again, within the war room, within the clubhouse, we have access to data, all kinds of filters, and so we brought in this BI report to help this team understand, maybe shift marketing spend to a store that's not on fire, some of those sorts of things. So real active dashboard here with what is going on in all of our incidents, managing the master checklist to drive people's tasks, and reviewing data through the environment. So the next thing that I wanted to do, we're gonna move our scenario on, and we need to hold a meeting now. Obviously, we've got some issues in the store. We've got to get the team together. And so we're going to go into our incident management template OneNote environment. And you see here that we've been given a nice meeting template. Lots of ways I can do this. Copy and paste is one nice way. Perhaps now I'll put today's date. But just before I do that, I want to show you a really cool feature that has saved me a lot of time in the past. Very likely this meeting has been booked through a calendar at some point. And so when I want to go to I want to capture a bunch of meeting details. And before I do this, I'll make sure that I sign in. Trust me, this won't take too long. Okay, so I clicked meeting details on the insert function of OneNote. I now want to put in today's date and who's attending this and all these sorts of things. And so I'm just going to very briefly pick I should pick one like this here. So I'm going to go ahead and hit that. When I hit that meeting details from my calendar, it automatically populated the meeting date, the location, and who's attending this meeting today. So that can be particularly helpful. Nice little time saver. But I think you get the point here is we're gonna run our meeting, and we're gonna have parking lot items and all of this stuff. And over time, we're gonna have a nice, this one was October 14th. And over time, we're gonna have a list of the meetings, of the action items, of the decisions that have been made. And frankly, this notebook will also handle the other incidents. If we wanted to go into a deeper integration, we might have gotten the incident name into this thing. We certainly just wanted to show you guys some capabilities. So we really think it's important that the tool set from Office 365, that you look for these opportunities to integrate them in. So that's the OneNote. Add meeting details. I think Sean explained that we used the OneNote template in the incident template, and that's what populated that. The next thing I want to do is go to adding a SharePoint site to our team. So let's say that we need, and I'm sorry, I'm just going to have to go get a SharePoint link here for us. Just real quick, I'm copying and pasting a SharePoint link. So if I wanted to add a tab I can, it brings up all of my options. Now I actually see SharePoint, but I'm just going to make it faster and type there. It asks, okay, we're going to bring up a SharePoint tab for you. You know, what pages, where do you want this? I'm just going to put it right here. And I could have actually added that URL as well. But here we now have our checklist, our OneNote, and a SharePoint environment. So nice and easy to add tabs and add these different functionality to other apps. And we think that's important to understand that can be done. So now let's do some co-authoring. We've got to do some work on a file. So many ways I can do this, but why don't I do it by adding a document into the files? When I say so many ways, I could have created a chat and started a document. And now here we go. We'll put some SharePoint questions to ask into this document, and I'm uploading it. One of the things I might have done is mention Sean to drive him into this. But Sean, do you mind launching this document as well, and we'll work on this one together?
Absolutely.
Many of you maybe have seen co-authoring. If you haven't, please, check it out, because it is a powerful tool. We see down here, Sean is entering as he goes. I don't know if you can follow my cursor, but he's typing another question. I put in powerful tool. We're both working on it at the same time. And Microsoft has succeeded in addressing the conflicts that are potential. If I was starting to type under this document and Sean wanted to do the same, it's going to stop us. But otherwise, it's going to let us free flow edit lots of stuff here and just go from there. So we think that, again, is a really important tool as we look at how we can collaborate together. Our next little scenario is kind of a fun one. I've got to launch my Outlook to do this. So if I wanted to put a document, let's say some external communications are coming in from maybe media, or we have a third-party public relations advisor. Maybe they're not in our Teams environment, which I would have preferred they were. So as the email comes in, we want to sync this with this journey. So you can see here on any given channel, it happens at the channel level. I can click the ellipses and I can get the email address. Now, what's really great about this is it lets me copy that away. And I am now able to forward, let me just find a document here. I can forward this document to the site by entering the email address, and it even brought up our name. So next time I start typing External Communications Northwest, it's going to find that and it's going to put it into this site, and it does it really quickly. We'll see it. It's going to create an email folder for us and get it in. Come on. It'll go. Trust me on this. Sean, just while it's preparing that, our next little use case is actually to add a picture or some photographs to the site. Would you mind taking us through how that's done, just while I get this going here? Oh, I'm sorry. I put it in external communications, and lo and behold, there it is. So I was checking the wrong channel. So there's our file. It's an email. When I click on it, it launches and loads just like an email would, and we can read it again. So this is a great way to start aligning communications that aren't in the Teams environment. Forward the email to it. Start CCing it if you are sending out email. CC this site so that your content arrives there, and any replies to all will get in there as well. Over to you, Sean. Sorry, I took a moment there.
Oh, that's perfect. It's a great demonstration. I wanted to show another way of adding content into a team. So obviously with the Teams mobile app, you could very easily take a picture on your mobile device, and upload it into the team, the channel, the folder, wherever it really belonged. So you've got the full ability to do that. Something we wanted to show was another way of linking people with the places they need to work using the Power Automate mobile app. So I think many people are aware of the Power Apps mobile app, but the Power Automate mobile app has one really awesome feature. I want to highlight it now, and I'm going to just hold my phone up to the screen. So I have it on max brightness. Hopefully you can see that, but this is what you see here is a float button. And float buttons are very cool. It's another kind of trigger. So the first trigger that we saw today was in the chat. We raised the adaptive card via Teams. This is a button trigger, and you can actually create very simple forms with these button triggers. Kind of hard to see the actual form, but we have a slide that we'll show you in just a minute. And why this is good and how it's a little different than uploading a file right into Teams. If you want to put a little bit more process around it, perhaps streamline things a little bit, you could build a form to capture this information, and it will just force perhaps better data capture. If there's more data than just an image that you want, you can do it this way. So I'm entering in the incident ID 1029, and then I'm going to, I could either take a picture with my mobile app or choose something from the photo library. So I've got a couple of choices there, and I've got an image of an incident, and I can put in a description of that. So what happens next? I'm going to hold this up one more time. You can kind of see the image there, but the form isn't clear. But it's a super simple form. It takes just a minute to fill out, and now we see the button again, and it's just processing. So this is a mobile app that's connected someone very easily to a process by which they can take an image, categorize and classify it, and it's actually going to get sent back into Teams. So if we go over to incident 1029, to the general folder, and let's have a look at the files. There's our screenshot. We can open that up, and we're going to get to see a valve that has some serious issues. Along with the fire, there's another problem.
Yes, excellent. That's a fantastic demo. We were sure that was going to be hard to do with our cell phones and what have you, but I really don't want to breeze over the filing of photographs is a major challenge. We can all take 1,000 pictures with our phones, but getting them to the right teams and the right channels does take a little more effort. Some metadata or some directing is required, and so this is a great solution to start thinking this through and enabling. You might have inspectors that are going to multiple stores, multiple incidents, and so they can start routing those pictures appropriately. Well, we're doing great on this demo here. I believe we've covered it all. Sean, do you agree?
Yeah, I think that covers all the core stuff that we wanted to demonstrate.
Wonderful. Well, we'll just get back to making sure that we've explained what this the Power Automate app has done for us here. And I think that's fairly clear that we filled out a form, we added the picture, it got into the team. So let's go on to a few best practices, and we will have time for some questions and discussion. So the first one, this may seem obvious, and Sean, if you don't mind, I'll start out the commentary on this, is to, I think a lot of time us as IT members sometimes want to sit down with our business colleagues and suggest tools to do things. And what we're finding is that if we can sit down with someone and talk about a process, most people can point out to us where the frustrating, slow, error-prone parts of a process are. And so instead of saying, I can automate this or I can replicate and duplicate that, it's more about understanding the process and then looking for those opportunities to bump it along faster, eliminate a step, run something concurrently instead of individually. So probably fairly obvious advice, but understand, document, and communicate about the process, and then the royal we in the IT community can bring in these tools to help fix things. Anything more to say on that, Sean? A war story to tell or anything?
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head, though. Getting that analysis done, making sure you have a thorough understanding of what the true problem is. Make sure you have that ROI in mind before you get started. Where, what is this costing you as it is? Where do you want to get to in the end?
Perfect. All right, I'll take this next one and I'll leave you the last couple. But, so this is one I'm going to handle gently. Microsoft is promoting and speaking about the citizen developer and have created the most vast set of no-code tools that I've ever experienced, and I appreciate that. I do think that if we look, this is maybe a Sean Halliday personal opinion or one we've experienced a bit out there, but if we look across the portfolio of organizations and maybe even individuals in their digital transformation journey, I think we may find that dumping all of these tools onto the accountants, the engineers, the contract negotiators might leave a little to be desired in terms of the end result. And so the advice that we're giving our clients is to expect that even though the tools can be built by a non-developer, a non-IT technical person, that your first introductions to them will likely involve IT and vendors like ourselves. It is to ensure success and the proper patterns of deploying these kinds of tools. It is our belief, and we're seeing it in some of the very early stages with some customers, that they are becoming more comfortable, they are adapting, but our basic advice is don't just dump these tools and a web page help section and expect them to really embrace it and really drive positive change. We are going to have to hold hands and move people through it. The exciting part is it'll be a diminishing effort of return, in that IT will need to be less and less involved, and you'll find that your business community users are going to start coming to you saying things like, could we use one of those automate flows for this? Could we use a dashboard for that? And so it's going to happen. It is happening. But we're representing here that it's not going from 0 to 60 in one day. There is a journey to get there. And we suggest that IT will be less frustrated if they see that journey coming, and then structure their guidance accordingly. Go ahead, Sean.
All right. This is a really important one, and I think we kind of talked about this earlier as well. But identifying those quick wins, look for the low-hanging fruit, find those early successes, and grow from there. So, what we find in these different times that we've deployed it, different customers, when you're getting started with a new technology, and I'm sure you've all seen it too, those early wins can help you cultivate champions. They'll emerge out of those projects. They'll help you win with the technology as it gets deployed further. And I think that's just a really important part with any new platform, is making sure that you start in the right spot. Being able to iterate over time as well is something that I think this whole platform, this whole solution stack we've seen today does an excellent job of. So with Microsoft Teams, you've seen how easily today Sean was able to go in, adjust, add tabs, and make things happen on the fly. So being able to iterate is so important, and the Power Platform allows you that same type of capability. So you can tweak, adjust, and grow these solutions, as you kind of stabilize them and affect change. So you don't have to look for that, massive win at first. Start with something small, get a victory, and grow from there.
Sean, you mentioned something that I do feel is worth bringing up as well, and you kind of touched on the concept of change champions. And we're certainly seeing a lot of success in the Teams space, where we breed change champions within an organization. And what I mean by that is sort of identify some people who are maybe a step or two ahead in either their enthusiasm or knowledge, and then start them sharing, hey guys, I just used Teams for this, or hey everyone, I just did this, or how do I do this? and getting not just your service help desk to answer those questions, but regular business users. And I would suggest that the same patterns apply here for using the Power Platform. Is if we can get change champions that are starting to share ideas and saying, it's a little idea, but hey, I just had a right mouse click flow, start up a new team or a new planner. Those are the kinds of things that might get someone else thinking, hey, that's not a bad idea. I'm finding that, there's that expression, the only limits are the limits of our imagination. Well, suffice it to say that these tools are pushing where our imagination can even go, and we're just not there yet. And so it is a group effort to show the art of the possible and to start us regular business folks starting to think more about how to use these tools. We are in step one of many, many in terms of what's possible here.
That's a great point. And do you want to take this one, Sean?
Well, I put this one, and this is really piling onto the change management side. Is help these solutions work. If you roll them out and they turn into an early frustration or confidence is lost, then we really have an uphill battle to get back to this stuff. And so, this is like almost an internal sales and marketing campaign where based on success, we've got to really rev that messaging up, and we've got to really chase down issues. And I'm not even going to go to failure, but chase down the struggles that may exist because it'll wreck the enthusiasm. And we are trying to light a fire here, no pun intended to our scenario, but we're trying to build out the mass adoption and acceptance. So we can't be doing that on half-working solutions, and it's probably parlaying into the expect to help your user community in the early days. Anything more to say on that, Sean?
Yeah, something I'd like to add is, and I don't want to get too salesy here, but something that we help a lot of customers with, and it's a real springboard for them, is that current state and readiness. So, with a platform that isn't working out of the gates or getting into something where you're unsure of the whole scope of it, and you've kind of got those questions, in terms of how do we properly manage and own this? How do we govern this and administer this tool? I mean, Amtra and Fidelity can help you with that stable foundation that you can build on. And I think it's just, regardless of whether or not you ask us for that help, it's a very important step to take.
Great point. And I actually, my team's going to laugh now because they know I can't complete a presentation without mentioning governance and taxonomy. And the point behind me mentioning this today is that is a foundational piece to how you will use teams, when to use teams, where information goes, how to name them, how long to keep them active, sort of that life cycle stuff. These are foundational pieces that, frankly, if you create a total mess of your team's environment, then some of this automation and adding tabs and some of the great things that we've done today will be diluted in their effect, because first of all, people might not even know where to go. They may be managing information in 5 different teams, but you can also you can also lose control of security, your internal and external accesses. It's certainly a huge opportunity to bring in external advisors, your legal counsel, your PR agent, your insurance, whoever needs to be involved. But good governance and taxonomy is going to keep that safe, secure, and retained properly. So never the sexy part of a team's conversation, but a seriously important one. And again, Amtra and Fidelity can help you with these sort of early platform components to set up for the big wins.
Yeah, it's interesting. Even in our scenario that we ran through today, the first thing that we started talking about was, well, should this be a channel or a team? And it's having that strategy to know where things belong is going to actually make your platform useful and usable. So it is there's a few different aspects to that between the two platforms, but not to be overlooked.
Not to be overlooked, exactly. This is our last slide. We will leave some time for questions if there are any, but we have offered the attendees today a chance to sit down with one of our team members with the goal of identifying a process that you'd maybe like to see if we could sharpen the stone on. We'll suggest and look for some opportunities where teams and the Power Platform could bring in some automation, streamlining, or just improving operations. We expect that this can be a real great generative brainstorming kind of conversation, and you can contact either one of us. We will co-communicate in how best to help you out, and certainly hope that some of you will take advantage of that. We love this stuff, so we want to have more conversations. So this is our beautiful thank you slide, but I'm not sure if we do have any questions or any comments that we can help shed some more light on. Raquel, are you there?
I am. So thank you, Sean and Sean. If anybody does have any questions, if you could post them in the chat box, that would be great, and we will get them answered. Thank you to everyone for attending. If there are no questions, as you can see, there's many use cases for Teams and the Power Platform. Please feel free to reach out to us about how we can help you implement simple processes to improve your business. Have a great day, everyone.
Thanks so much. Bye-bye.
Thanks, everyone. Appreciate it. Oh, we have one question coming in here.
Oh.
All right. Where can I go to get some more information on how to build these types of applications? Thanks, Amy. So Microsoft has done a very excellent job in providing resources for folks that want to get started with this. You know, I'll say to begin with, Microsoft provides guided learning, and there are guided learning resources for all the Power Platform. Sean, I believe there's probably some similar tools for all the O365 tools as well.
Exactly, and it sort of depends on how deep you want to go. There's even certifications in this stuff. So we found that you know, the average user, the interested party like myself, can get some highlights on the web. I will say that some of the things that you configured today, Sean, for us were beyond my capabilities, and so there really is a difference and I'm not sure if that's just time in or technical abilities, but I would have taken on some of these and not others. So somewhere in there, more knowledge is needed. Yeah.
Yeah, so there's lots of tools available. Microsoft does run App in a Day programs as well. You can look for, if you do a search for App in a Day Roadshow on Google, you can register for these events, and then both AMTRA and Fidelity provide services to get people up to speed if you need that as well. So reach out to those email addresses that were on the second last slide. Maybe we can post them to chat here if you'd like to get connected with us.
Great idea. Yeah. So easy. Okay. I'll do that now, and then I think we can wrap it up. There they are. Okay, thanks everyone. We hope you have a great day and look forward to hearing from you more.
Yeah,
Bye-bye.
really appreciate it, everyone. Have a good day.
Thank you, everyone.